Today we're talking about digestion. This episode had to come at some point, right? I joke about this a lot, but it's a real freaking thing, okay? Like, when you're a heavy drinker, your digestive system is so out of whack. I thought I had IBS. I thought I was lactose intolerant. I thought that I was like developing a literal bowel problem because I would take like a Coke Zero on a walk with me and basically not be able to make it home. Like, I was fearful that I was going to have to knock on somebody's door and go use their bathroom because I wasn't going to make it. And that's from Diet Coke or whatever, let alone if I was having coffee or dairy or whatever. Okay, TMI. This is going to be a TMI episode. We're talking about digestion, IBS, gut health, and the lies that I told around my health. Don't listen if you don't want to hear this. Do listen if you do. Do. No pun intended. Okay, let's get into the episode. Welcome to the Sober Scoop. This is a judgment-free zone where we talk about how to get sober and stay sober. You're not alone. I hope you feel seen. Quitting alcohol is the best decision I've ever made. All right, so one thing that I want to talk about before we get into, the digestive system is that I used to lie all the time, saying that I had food poisoning. This kind of goes along with digestion because it's all, your tummy issues, your gut health, whatever. In my 1 year of sobriety, I have not had food poisoning once. Not once. Yet when I was a heavy drinker, I somehow got food poisoning like once every couple months. Quote unquote food poisoning. Like, I would lie about that and say that I must have eaten something. Oh my God, my tummy is just so messed up. Whether it was like just gurgling and bloated or whether it was coming out one end or the other, or I'm throwing up. Like, I was somebody who threw up before I blacked out. Like, I would throw up and that would stop me from going too far, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, yeah, so on the nights that I would throw up, I had such good control of my drinking that I was like so angry and confused when I let myself get too far to the point where I was throwing up. It would still happen pretty regularly, like maybe once a month, but I drank every day. So once every 30 times, I would throw up. And I had such pride in being able to handle my drink and like keep up with the boys and drink a lot of alcohol and not show it. I had so much pride in like pretending that I wasn't drunk when I was. I wanted everyone to think that I was so good at handling my booze. I don't know why I was so prideful of that. But yeah, so when I would be throwing up, I don't know if I'm more lying to myself or more lying to the person I'm talking to, but I would always say that it was the food or something. Like, what did you order? Oh my God, I wonder if it was the tomatoes on our In-N-Out burger. Like, no, it was the 13 Coors Lights. It wasn't the frickin' tomatoes or the lettuce. It was the beer, as it always is. Like, I used to... How does that make sense in your brain? Like, that's how my alcoholic brain worked. I always have to say this. I don't like the word alcoholic, but it's just shorter than saying person with a drinking problem or whatever. So just take that with a grain of salt. Anyways, so my alcoholic brain decided to deduce that whenever I got sick and was throwing up, that it was probably the sauce on the burger, not the half a bottle of red wine I had for breakfast, the 6 White Claws I had at happy hour, and the 7 Coors Lights and 1 Moscow Mule that I had in the evening to myself. Like, oh no, it must be the sauce on the burger. What? Like, we are just not logical as problematic drinkers. Logic is out the building. Goodbye. It's just not a thing. And I genuinely believed that in my soul, that it was the sauce on the burger or the lettuce or the tomatoes or whatever. It was not my drinking, because I drank to that extent every day. And so I could not fathom why my body decided to reject it that specific time. It must have been something else. Yeah, so I lied and said that I had food poisoning, like, all the time. Girl, why are you getting food poisoning so much? That's weird. Get it together. So I can't believe nobody said that to me. I just had tummy issues, right? Oh, sensitive stomach. Crazy. So, yes, what a beautiful segue to the tummy issues. So, yeah, what a relief it was in early sobriety to not deal with digestive problems for the first time in so long. That was one of the biggest reliefs I had in the beginning. I just made an episode about the pink cloud and like all these positive changes that you feel in your life. They just kind of make you feel this state of elation. Is that a word? Super elated. And one of those positive things that happened that, you know, you're not going to go around and tell everybody is the digestive aspect. When I was a heavy drinker, I had this genuine fear about number 2, because like if I had one Coors Light, my stomach was fricked for the rest of the night. I usually had a lot more than one Coors Light, but after that first sip, it was like I was running to the bathroom, multiple times per evening. I'm really just going full filter free here. So for the people I know in my real life who are listening to this, sorry. It is what it is. Laying it all out on the line. Yeah, I would be going to the bathroom multiple times an evening, if you know what I'm saying. And let's just say, I pretty much never experienced a solid number 2 for the entire time that I was heavily drinking. I need to stop saying TMI, because if you're still listening, you understand that this is going to be a TMI episode. So you've already signed up for it. I'm not going to say that anymore. I'm just going to speak from the heart, from the soul, from the stomach, the gurgly stomach. Okay, so yeah, when I was a heavy drinker, I was constantly running to the bathroom, constantly bloated, constantly gurgling, constantly unsure if I was going to need to sprint to the bathroom, to the point where I stopped going on walks outdoors because I had a couple of extremely close calls where I thought I wasn't going to make it. I thought I was going to have to go squat in a bush or something. And it made me not want to go on walks anymore. So I started going on the treadmill at the gym because there was a bathroom there, just in case. How sad. I'm going to skip my walks because I like booze so much that I now have digestive bowel issues. Like, oh my God. And not to mention the physical effects of that as well. Like when people are bulimic and they're throwing up constantly, it really ruins the function of their mouth and their throat and their teeth. Like it's not good to have just like liquid coming out of their mouth at all times, going the opposite direction that it's supposed to. And I know, yes, things are supposed to exit your body from the rear, but it just got me thinking, if things are going in the manner that they were, like so liquidy and like just constant, like that can't be good for your body. You know what I mean? That's not how your body is supposed to function. Not to mention what's going on your insides, in your intestines, in the organs. Like I was constantly feeding my body poison and expecting it to like function as usual. No. My body was basically rejecting what I was giving it. And that's why it was resulting in those types of bathroom experiences. And one of my best friends, Sophia, hello if you're listening, she is like a health expert. And I remember I used to tell her like, oh, I think I have IBS or, something like that, because I haven't had a solid number 2 in a very, very long time. And she's telling me about other people who've experienced that. And how their situation is. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so me. Like same for me. But mine was literally just because of the booze. Because almost immediately, I mean, the next day after I quit drinking, my digestive system healed itself. Literally the next day. I was actually constipated for the first couple of days, if I remember correctly, because it was the complete opposite. My body was used to having something like force everything out. And then when I didn't have that anymore, obviously it's going to be a bit more backed up. And anyway, I remember really quickly after that, I got on like a regular schedule, and like, I know this, I'm laughing and like making jokes about it and stuff, but on a serious note, I have never in my life felt more relieved. Like, I had so much anxiety around the bathroom, and I was so self-conscious of my gurgling and bloating and discomfort. Every time I had like a movie night, I was uncomfortable. Every time I went out to coffee in the morning, like with my boyfriend or a friend or whatever, I was constantly anxious about, I'm going to have to use the bathroom. Like, having regular digestion is peace. Not to be dramatic, but like, it is literally so peaceful. And I just remember it was like clockwork, basically, around the same time every day, and literally once a day every day. And it was just easy and manageable. And again, I talk about this with sleep sometimes. I felt like I cracked the code to life with regards to sleep. And with regard to digestion, I also feel like I cracked the code to life. I was like, oh, this is how things are supposed to operate. Okay, got it. And that's when I started getting more interested in health and nutrition in general, because I was like, okay, eliminating alcohol has fixed this. What else can I do? And that's when I got more interested in like, learning about proteins and dairy and certain vitamins and fiber and just all these different things in life that are so wonderful. I was like, what happens if I actually take care of my body and feed it what it needs? What else can come? And it really has been beautiful to see the transition in my internal and external health, from first cutting out alcohol and removing this poison from my life and like healing my gut and my liver and everything. And then on top of that, focusing on health and wellness. And it's like, wow. Yeah, it's a cheat code to life. Sobriety and actually just eating what you're supposed to eat and not feeding yourself absolute crap like booze. That's why I don't mind if I have ice cream and candy every now and then and a freaking diet root beer. That's what I'm sipping on right now. Any of that stuff is so much better than the poison I was feeding myself during my alcohol problem. I give myself quite a bit of grace in the food and sweet treats categories. Okay? But in general, I don't know, 70-30? 75-25? I try to be healthy and like pay attention to what I'm putting in my body, and it has really reflected on the outside. And you know what's really cool? With your dog or your cat or whatever, if they have weird poos, you know that there's something wrong with them. And once you get sober, it's like, now if anything is irregular with your digestion, that something is probably up. You'll actually know if you ate something bad. Or, oh, interesting, I had a bad reaction to that drink or to that food or to that whatever you put in your body. You actually are so in tune with your body. That is something I loved, is that I actually knew when I was sick, like when I had a headache or a stomach ache, I knew that it wasn't because of alcohol. Before, I would feel those things and automatically assume that it was alcohol, and usually drink more alcohol to get through that discomfort. I wonder, on the rare chance that it was like an actual headache or stomach ache, like I would have no idea what that was caused by. Like whenever you're dealing with health issues and stuff, you have to eliminate alcohol completely to figure out what actually is causing those health issues. You can't deduce what health issues you might have if you're still consuming alcohol, because that'll ruin everything. gets everything out of whack. So I found that really, really interesting, is that anytime I did have a weird, irregular number 2, I actually got to learn something about myself, and I got to think about what did I eat. And you also kind of learn like what's worth it, right? Like if dairy does bother you, is pizza worth it to eat for you? Like, can you deal with that level of stomach ache or discomfort or digestive issues? Like, is that worth it for the pizza? You kind of just learn how your body reacts. Like, I know what I can and cannot eat. Fun fact, something that really fricks me up, apples. How random. I looked it up and I'm not the only one. Apparently, and cherries. Apples and cherries. I think because they're so high in fiber, that I don't eat those really anymore. I try to avoid cherries and apples because I learned in my sobriety that those things do not sit well with me. I would have never discovered that when I was a drinker because I would have just always assumed it must be the booze, right? Like I had irregular number 2s every single time that I went to the bathroom. So how would I know if it was the apples or if it was the, 17 White Claws over the last 24 hours or the whiskey shots at the bar or whatever? You wouldn't. So it really gives you a lot of insight just into your health and everything. And I think that's super interesting. Like I said, I was laughing and making jokes about this topic, but like I'm pretty open with this stuff with the people in my life. We all poop. Okay. And digestion is actually like a big indicator of your health in general. And so I don't mind talking about it with people. Like I think it should be talked about more. Heck, why not? It really is a good indicator of what's going on with your body, and it just helps you stay super in tune with what's going on your insides. And that's always good to know. Good information. Okay. And just being in tune with your body in general feels really good, and like having control over yourself, because sometimes I felt like alcohol had control over my physical well-being and what was going to happen, and I had no control, and I like had to continue drinking. That's how I felt. It's like, I know that booze is making my stomach super gurgly and making this movie night really uncomfortable, but yet I still have to drink more. I was handcuffed to alcohol and under its control. And then I kicked it, and now I'm in control. Boom, shakalaka. So yeah, it feels really good. And having peace with your digestion is such a beautiful thing. And it's very freeing and a perk of sobriety that is not talked about that much. I love it. It's wonderful. And I could not imagine it any other way. I think back to how I was living with those digestive problems in my drinking days. Oh my God, I could never. The stress, the discomfort, like ain't nobody got time for that. That's horrible. That's a horrible way to live. And I can't believe that was just my everyday. Every single day I lived like that. Thank God that's over. I'm so grateful for my body function now. So thanks. Shout out sobriety. Just another amazing thing that sobriety has given me. Holla. Okay, thank you for listening. I'll see you for the next episode. Bye.